Steele just made the case that you hear often, which is that both parties are at fault for polarization, and Barack Obama has refused to compromise in ways that other would. You were shaking your head during that, and
he was having a small conniption.
Yeah. So I want you.
I'm mild-mannered, Michael.
Respond. Why is that not the case?
You know, Bill Clinton and Barack Obama are very much alike, ideologically and even in terms of procedure and approach to the Republicans. Democrats had their days of extreme movement. That would be the 60s and the early 70s. But once the Dixiecrats left the Democratic Party, the rest of them have stayed on a pretty even keel. The movement has been on the Republican side of the U.S. Where are the moderate Democrats? They're in the White House. They're in the leadership.
Right,
they are now.
Believe me, I agree. I mean,
they are a center-left party that would like nothing better than to make deals to preserve the social safety net, to deal with the problems of budget deficits and the rest.
So Barack Obama is politically tone deaf then, because he can't seem to find that chord that Bill Clinton did to get.
He's saying the Republicans are on strike.
It's entirely a matter of what the Republican Party is doing, because they are the ones that have become much more committed to all-out opposition. Barack Obama's election was the occasion for an explicit statement from the Republicans. We are in this to defeat Barack Obama. We have no interest in passing a welfare reform bill. We're in a war, and that's what it's all about.
Can I offer my own theory? Because you're telling a cultural story and about the way that norms change and the way that conservative institutions have promoted that, and the political entrepreneurship of a young Newt Gingrich. How much do you think my own version of this story has to do with inequality? And the version of that story is that there's a set of interests, political economic interests that are at the core of the Republican Party, and a set of the core of the Democratic Party, and the inequality allows the Republican Party to be more extreme. It's not trying to simultaneously represent capital and labor the way the Democratic Party is. It can essentially just represent the interests of the Chamber of Commerce and be protected.
Well, I do think that in the post-Citizens United world, it's going to become more and more the case that you become a handmaiden to a small group of people who will put billions in, and if they will threaten to put the billions against you if you don't go along with it. That's a part of this. But I think it's broader than that. It's a strategic decision made by leaders. And getting back to Michael's questions, if you just look at some examples, the healthcare bill was not just the individual mandate. This was the Republican alternative drafted by Grassley and Hatch to the 1993 Clinton bill, which of course they opposed totally, not a single vote for it in either house, and grafted onto the Romney Care bill. And we went through 7 months. This wasn't Obama saying take it or leave it. 7 months of painful negotiations in the Senate, where Grassley himself, who opposed everything he'd supported before, stood up and said, I've been told by the leadership unless we get 70% of the Republicans in the Senate, we're not going to do it. Look at the stimulus. 40% of it almost was tax cuts. No votes in the House. 3 weeks into the presidency, and we know that it was a strategic choice made inaugural eve by leaders.
Thomas Mann and Norm Ornstein, I'm sorry, you have some discussion of solutions here, and obviously we could do 2 hours on this topic. In some ways, the core central topic of our politics. You have some solutions in here, which we're not going to get to today, but I'll use that as a tease to have you back up on the program, because I'd love to have you back and keep talking about this.
Absolutely.
Authors of the new book, It's Even Worse Than It Looks. Thanks for joining us. What we should know for the news week ahead.